Welcome to the Home Designer Custom Bathroom and Lighting webinar. My name is Emily and I will be presenting for you today. We also have Stephanie with us, so if you have any questions throughout today's webinar, feel free to chat those in to Stephanie. And before we get going with our bathroom design, I wanted to take you through the GoToMeeting control panel. So the audio section enables you to control how you'd like to listen to today's presentation. The standard is use mic and speakers. However, I do have everybody muted, so you don't need a mic today, just your speakers. And if you're not able to hear me correctly, you can select that sound check, and that will help adjust the different levels through the GoToMeeting preferences. If that's just not working for you, select that telephone radio and you can call in. If you don't see this larger area, it will minimize to this little toolbar here. And you can select the orange arrow button to restore this larger area. And the next area will be for questions. So type in any question you have at the bottom here, select send, and Stephanie will be replying to those questions for you today. We offer many different home designer programs, so today I will be working within our Home Designer Professional. Most of the tools I use today will be applicable to all of our home designer programs. However, you can visit our website and find a full comparison chart to see all of the differences between the programs. And we're going to be focusing on our bathroom space today. So we're going to just focus on creating a bathroom area attached to a bedroom. So we'll be using our walls to develop that space and dimension that out correctly. And then we'll work on a vanity area using our cabinetry tools and customizing those a bit. And then I'll show you how to place accessories and place your lighting and adjust that for your different 3D views. Then we'll move on to creating a glass shower enclosure, then a built-in tub. I'll also show you how to control your materials a little bit within the program. And then we'll get into a fireplace, and at the end I'll show you a little bit about that materials list and how that's generated. So let's get going in our Home Designer software. Within our Home Designer Pro software, I do have just a new plan open for us. And across the top, these are our default tools that I'll be using today. So the first one I'll select is our straight wall. We also have a curved wall option. And once I select that parent tool, I'll have some more child options over on the left-hand toolbar here. We also have a drop-down toolbar option that I'll show you where you can control that a little bit later through our preferences. I'm just going to start out by drawing our straight exterior wall here. So you can just click and drag, and you'll notice a temporary dimension will appear for us. So we have an idea of how long that wall is. And once you release, that will place our wall. You can then single click on that wall and single click on the dimension. We're going to adjust this to be 13 feet 5 inches. Make sure you put the foot marker in there for the foot. The program will think in the smaller units, so inches, so you don't need an inch marker, just that foot marker. Next, you'll see a couple different controls here. So we can select move right end. So we're telling the wall to move on the right end here. Hit enter on the keyboard and that will adjust our wall. And then I'll just click and drag out some more walls here. I'm not going to be too specific at this point. We'll go right back into this and readjust here in a little bit. So I'm just going to connect all of our walls, and within our Home Designer software you'll need to connect all of your walls to create your room. So you can go through and use your exterior, interior, room divider tools and so forth to create that space. Just make sure to connect all of the walls, and then you'll notice that there are a few different automatic features that happen. Our auto exterior dimensions will pop up for us, so we have these dimensions to work with. We have dashed green lines. These are our roof planes, so it automatically builds our roof for us. And then a living area has been defined and the square footage is calculated. I'm going to get into a 3D view. So with our camera view tool up at the top here, I'll select our perspective full overview. So this will give us the whole idea of what's been created, and you'll see that we also have a foundation that's automatically generated. So since we're just doing one space, I really don't need a foundation, so you can get into your Build Floor tool and then simply delete the foundation and say yes, that's what we'd like to do. Or you can also hide these different elements. So let's get into our floor plan view. So I'll go right up to my tab, click on that tab and drag it down. That will enable us to tile our views vertically. So you can click on those tabs, close them, or drag it onto a different monitor if you have a dual monitor setup. It really helps the efficiency, gives you some more real estate there. So for our roof planes, I'm going to zoom in here just a little bit with my scroll wheel. On your mouse you can zoom in and out with that scroll wheel. You can also hold that scroll wheel down and pan your plan. So for our roof planes, I'm going to open up this display options area. This will enable us to just hide those roof planes. I'm going to click on R on my keyboard. That will take us right down to the R section where we can see for our roof planes there's a plus sign in the used column, so we know that this is being used in our view. And I'm going to uncheck the display. We're going to do the same thing with our baseline. Select OK, and now that is hidden from our plan view but still exists. And in some cases we would like to keep our roof on. So when we open up our room here, we can control our ceiling. Under that structure tab, we can select the ceiling over this room or deselect that. And if you uncheck that ceiling over the room, it will just follow your roof planes. So that is one reason why you would like to keep your roof structure on there if you're just doing one space, as if you're doing some different ceiling design options. I'm going to have a flat ceiling over our room today, so I'll keep that checked. You can also change your ceiling height in here or your floor heights. So instead of adjusting your walls individually for your wall height, just get into the room specification and change your ceiling height here. And I am also going to get into our molding panel, uncheck the use floor defaults, and I'm going to delete our molding. So you can add or delete your different molding options that come up in your room. You can modify your wall coverings or change your materials in here as well. So if you wanted to change your floor finish, you can do that right in here. Let's actually do that. I'm going to get into a carpet option, select a carpet, and OK. So let's get back out of our 3D view and dimension our structure a little bit here, and then we'll see what's happening on the inside of our space. So I'll select our wall, and you know what, I'm going to hit my space bar because my cursor is still that camera. So I'm going to hit my space bar on my keyboard, and that will take me right back to my select object tool. So that's another shortcut for you. So I'll single click on my wall and single click on the perpendicular dimension. We're going to change this just down to 5 feet. And I'm going to work around my structure here. So this one is actually that exact dimension. So the next one here, we need to bring that down just a bit. Here we'll do 18 feet 2 inches. Hit enter on the keyboard, and now everything is dimensioned correctly for our exterior shell there. So for an interior view, I'll go right back to my perspective camera, and let's do a dollhouse view this time. So that will bring up our structure without any ceiling or roof design on there, so we get a good overview of our design. So I'll tile vertically again and continue working with our interior wall tools. So I'd like to create a space for our toilet, and then we'll also have a space in here for our closet. Now let's dimension these spaces. So I'll just use our auto exterior dimensions, and we'll do 10 or 8 feet 10.5 inches. So you can use decimals when you're typing these in. You can also get into fractions. So for instance, we'll do 6 feet 4 7/8. So you can do fractions in here as well. So if you have an interior dimension versus using our exterior, you can go right up to your dimension tool. We have some different options here. Home Designer Pro will give you the most control over your dimensioning tools, but I'll use our interior dimension and just show you how this works. You're just going to click and drag it right through your space, and that will locate to the interior side of the walls. So we'll single click on that top wall, single click on our interior dimension that we just placed, and let's do 6 feet 5 inches. And then from there we can delete that dimension. So you can single click on each individual dimension line and delete that. Or since we already have all of our spaces dimensioned, we can delete everything at once. Since that tool is still selected, I am going to hold down Shift on my keyboard and then click and drag. And that will select all of my dimension lines. I can hit backspace on my keyboard, and yes, I'd like to change that and delete those, and that will clean up our view here so we no longer have our dimensions. So you'll notice in our 3D view we have our rooms created, but I would like to change our flooring in one of these rooms. So I'll select it. And when we select an object in the program here, there will be an editing toolbar that comes up at the bottom. I'll select my open objects, and we are going to change this room type to a bathroom. So within our Home Designer software, we do have some defaults set up for you. So the materials that you're using, and then when you change a room type, like to a bath or laundry, utility room, kitchen, there are some different defaults that are set up for that. So when I select OK, it will automatically update our flooring for us and put tile in there as well. And then if we put in any outlets, it will automatically update those to be GFCI outlets as well. So a little programming into the software to eliminate the steps for you. For the rest of our bathroom space that we'll be creating in this section, I'd like to change the flooring in here as well. But if I single click in that area, it also selects all of the other space for the bedroom. So to do our change, I'm going to get right back into my floor plan, get back into my wall tool, and use my room divider. So then I can just click and drag, and that will create a divider without building any new walls, which enables me to open up this space and change our flooring in here or any other components that I would like to. Then we'll select OK, and that will update for us. Next, let's add in some openings. So let's start out with our door tool. So once I select the door, I do have some different door styles here with our hinge door, doorway, sliding door, pocket door, bifold. I'll start out with that hinge door. I'll bring it right down onto my floor plan here, and that will snap to the center of the wall. If you just bring it right over, it will snap there. And then if you click and just hold that click down, you can move your mouse around, and that will change the hinge side and swing side for you. Release, and that will place the door. You can also select that door, open that for specification, and through our door styles you can change it quickly just to like a panel, or get into the library to get a more custom door style. You can change the sizing right here, and through our panels you can change whether you'd like to show that open or closed, change the casing, add an arch, change the framing structure there. So if you needed to change the header for this individual door, you can do that in Home Designer Pro. And then a touch on the materials. That looks good, so I'll just select OK, and we're all set there. Now let's just drop in a pocket door into this area. For our window options, we do have our standard window, bay window, box, bow window, or a pass-through. So I'll start out with my standard window. We'll just drop a couple in here, and we'll have one over here. You can just single click on that object, and there will be editing handles, so you can resize that. Or again, we can open that up for specification. We can change the window type if you just want a fixed glass or single casement and so forth. You can change that right in here. Change your size and position a little bit more specifically through here. And then again, through the panel options, you can change all of the different components, add different lights in here, window treatments, shutters, and so forth. Alright, so now that we have our openings placed, let's get into a different 3D view and start working with our cabinetry. This time I'll be using our full camera, so that's our first option here. We're going to be standing in our room, so we're going to click where we're standing and drag to our focus. And that will bring us up into our 3D view, and we can continue working in our 3D view here. I'll select my cabinet tool, and let's drop in our full height cabinet right over here in the corner. I'll bump it up, single click, and drop that into place. And we can also double click on an object to open that up for specification. We can change our sizing again right in here. I'm going to change our toe kick. I need to bring that down a bit. I'd like it to be 1 inch high, and I don't need any depth. I want that to be right out to the front. I like having a gap here just so there is a separation from the floor and the bottom of that door. Through our front panel, we can change our doors. You can add or remove different items from your cabinet, but I just need to change this to a left door. We'll do the same on that bottom door. We can also get into our shelving and specify the shelving more in depth. With our Home Designer Pro, you can manually change this and add the specific amount of shelves, whether they're adjustable, roll out, and so forth. Within all of the other Home Designer programs, there's an option to either have shelving or remove it. So Home Designer Pro does give you a bit more flexibility there. You'll also have more flexibility with your box construction and door and drawer overlay within Home Designer Pro. Through our door/drawer panel, we can change our door style. Let's change that to framed, and I'm going to add glass doors here. And again, we do have our library button, so you can get into the library for even more options. For our door handle, let's change that to a vertical pull. So you can change your drawer options in here as well if you are going to add any drawers to this full height. You can add different molding onto your cabinetry within Home Designer Interiors, Architectural, or Pro, and then modify your material in here. I do want to change our glass, so underneath our Select Materials, I have imported a specific material, so you can import your own materials. So I have a frosted glass that I would like to use. Select OK, and that will be placed in our glass cabinet area. Now that we have our full height placed, let's get into our base cabinet here and just drop one in. So this is not the standard base cabinet I would like to use throughout my design. I did find an inspiration for our cabinetry. I'd like to have kind of that floating cabinet, maybe a thick countertop on there. So let's get into our defaults and change the standard cabinet that we'll be using throughout today's vanity area. So I'm just going to delete our cabinet, get up into Edit, Default Settings. Underneath our cabinets, I'll get into the base cabinet, and we're going to make the modifications through this area. This will be our standard cabinet throughout that standard base cabinet tool. So I'm going to change our height to 21 inches. We'll keep the width at 24 because of course we can make modifications to each individual cabinet as we go through. And I'd like to change our floor to bottom. A standard cabinet is 36 inches, which includes the countertop. So to get our 21-inch height cabinet to the standard heights, let's bring this up 15 inches. And then for our countertop thickness, we'll change that to 3 inches, and you'll see that update. We'll still have our overhang. We don't need to worry about any flat sides or a flat back for the countertop. And for our backsplash, I'm going to reduce that down to 0. I don't need a backsplash on our cabinets here. We'll be doing something custom in a little bit. We don't need a toe kick since this is floating. And then for our front, I'll keep our drawer there, but let's delete our door. So just click on that and hit delete up here, and we're all set. So now, once I select done, and I use my same base cabinet, we'll be placing our modified base cabinet. And I want to resize that down to 21. Next, let's drop in another cabinet. This will be for our sink. So I do want to make a few modifications here for all of the plumbing that we're placing. I need to just change this to a door, and we'll delete our opening. So then we'll have just a full door here, and let's get into our shelving and remove the shelving. And then for our door and drawer, I should have changed this in our defaults, but you can do that right through each cabinet if you'd like to as well. Okay, so that's placed. Let's place in one more here of that 21 inch. And then I will multiple select. So just by holding down Control on your keyboard, you can click on each item to multiple select. We're going to copy these, and then within Home Designer Pro we have a reflect about object, so we can bring our cursor right over that middle cabinet and then reflect everything onto this other side. So let's get back into our floor plan and see what's been created. And you'll notice that our full height cabinet reaches a little bit beyond this wall. So if this is a new design, you can easily just move that wall. Or if it's a remodel, you can specify a change right in here, so it's really quick and easy to make those modifications in a design program versus after the fact, after the installation has been complete. So let's just get in here, delete that drawer, and we'll have a nice opening there. Alright, so now that everything has been positioned correctly, let's get into our fixtures. I'll open up our library. So just with our books set up here, that's our library browser. And through our core catalog, which is the standard catalog that is downloaded when you install the program, you can go through our architectural folder, into our fixtures, the sinks, and our bathroom sinks, and I would like to select from our without fixtures folder. We'll get into our vanity, and I'll just do this oval undermount. And we can single click on our cabinet and just drop those right in. Next, let's find a faucet. So that's only a few folders up. We'll get into our faucets and a wall mounted option. Select that whole folder and you'll see a preview of each one. I'll select that guy, bring it right onto the wall here. It'll snap to the center of that cabinet, and we'll just drop that right in with a single click. And in our 3D view, they look a little high. So I'll single click on both of them, hold down the control key while selecting to get them both at the same time, and just drag those down a bit. And there we are. Alright, well, we do have quite a bit of an open space up here. I'd like to use my soffit tool and fill that space. The soffit option is right through our cabinet tools. So we'll just drop that on top, resize it, and we're all set. Now for this middle area, instead of doing it just a standard backsplash, I'm going to be placing a mirror here. So we do have mirrors through our catalog that you can choose from, or we can also use our custom backsplash tool, which is right through our cabinet tools. Again, you do need to be in an elevation view or a 3D view, and then you can select the custom backsplash, and this is in Architectural or Home Designer Pro, and with one click it will automatically locate that back wall, create our just a 3D solid that it's placing on there, and it's calling it a backsplash because it's putting it on the back of our wall there, and it will automatically default to this kind of subway tile, but this is supposed to be a mirror. So let's look for a mirror material within our library, and you'll see all of those other mirror options as I scroll down here. There is our mirror material that I will simply paste on to our backsplash. So now we have a mirror, but there's no reflection. So I'll close out of our library, get into our preferences, which is right up here at the top, and through our preferences under our render area, we can show reflections in mirrors in our preview option. We also have a final view option, so this will be a little bit separate than your preview, which is just the standard camera. So I'll select that option, and while we're still in here, I'll just show you quickly two different areas. When you install the program, you'll automatically have crosshairs, so those are the lines along your cursor. So when you move your cursor, the crosshairs will follow that. You can uncheck that right in this area, and then under the appearances you can control your toolbars to be a drop-down toolbar or the child tool palette that I'm using today. Alright, well that's pretty much it here, so I'll select OK, and then we'll have our reflection in our mirror. Now I'm going to accessorize a little bit. I'll get right back into my library, and I have my own folder. So I've been using a few items out of our core catalog. We also have a bonus and manufacturer catalog. These are items that you're going to download right through our website. And then we have your own custom user catalog. So those items that you import, whether it's a material or a picture or a 3D object, you can create your own custom folder. Just right click on that folder, new. You can create a new folder, or here are the import options to import additional items. And then you can have your own kind of area for your efficiency. If there's any items that you use frequently, it's a great tool for efficiency there. So we do have a couple different areas to work on. Let's do our vanity here first, and I will select our hand towel, and I can just drop that right into our 3D view, and it's kind of floating on our vanity. So I need to move that. This is a object, and you can see with the square kind of outline there that it's taking up all of that space. So instead of it bumping into our cabinet, I need to release and make it free from all snapping or bumping. To do that, I'll hold down the control key on my keyboard, and now I can freely move that anywhere I want to, and it will no longer bump up against other objects. And then in our floor plan view, I'm going to just zoom in just a bit here and move that in slightly. Alright, well that's looking pretty good in that position, so I'm going to copy that, and I'll use my reflect about tool just to reflect that onto the other side. Next, let's get into our glass jar, and I'll place that on my countertop here. And you can see that that dropped onto the floor. This is one that I have imported, so it didn't know quite where to go. So we'll just drag that up and bump that right back down onto our counter and reposition that. Again, I hold down Control on my keyboard quite a bit just to free up any snapping that it tries to do there. And we'll just copy that, and you can see my paste indicator, so I'll single click and paste that and then move it up a little bit. And then we also have different baskets and towels and so forth that you can continue using and accessorizing in these areas. I like to have two different views open when I'm placing accessories, whether it's a 3D view or an elevation view for the height, and then my floor plan view kind of for that depth aspect as well. Really helps the whole picture come together when you can move your objects in all of those different fashions. Now let's drop in a few different lights around our vanity area. So my floor plan, I'll select my electrical tools. We have some different outlet options here, and for our default light I have my recess all set up. So I'll just single click, and you'll see in my 3D view that this is updating our visual. And then when I bring my cursor right onto the wall area, it's going to change from that recess to a wall sconce. So it's pretty smart in how it's going to adjust and modify everything for you. And you'll notice with the recess light that it will automatically place that right underneath our soffit or right underneath the ceiling. So it will automatically adjust the height of that for you. And then I'll just drop in a couple more on either side. So let's get into one of our lights. I'm going to select that light, and down in our editing toolbar we have the off option, so you can turn that on or off just with that little toggle down there. Or we can open that up, change the position, get into the light data panel, and we can also change our source light, so it can be a spotlight or a parallel, or your intensity can change. I'm going to just drop that down a bit. Or you can add light sources. So if this is a chandelier or something that has multiple sources of light coming off of it, you can add that on here. So that gives you a lot of flexibility there as well. Alright, that's good enough for now, so we'll select OK, and that will update for us. And then for our outlets, I'm just going to click on my 110 volts and bring it right into kind of the middle area there. Our program will automatically see that there are cabinets here and bring that up above for us, so we don't have to worry about moving that. And since this is labeled a bathroom space, like I mentioned before, it will automatically put in our GFCI outlet for us. So we're all set there. Next, let's work on our shower. So I'm going to rotate our camera around just a bit here, and we'll be working on our shower in this back space. And I found a shower enclosure that I am going to try to replicate a little bit here. I like the glass enclosure going all the way to the ceiling, and I also like having this doorway all the way to the ceiling. So let's start working with our wall tools and create that effect. So since we're going all the way to the ceiling, I'll be using just our interior wall tool. If your enclosure doesn't go quite up to the ceiling, use our half wall tool, and that will give you the ability to change the height of that wall. So I'll just click and drag. We're just going to create that space, and instead of having our bathroom label in there, I'll just delete that, highlight it and delete it. Select those walls and open those up for specification. Underneath our wall types, we have many different wall type options for you to choose from, one being the glass shower. So then we can quickly just change that to our glass enclosure. Now let's modify our dimensions a bit. We're going to do 4 feet 10 inches. And on this one, we'll do 7 feet, 1.5. And we're all set there. Now let's drop in our doorway. So for the doorway, it will automatically have our casing around there. So let's remove our casing. Just uncheck interior casing. Then I'm going to get right back into the general. You'll notice in our preview that our doorway doesn't quite go up to our ceiling. So I know our ceiling height is 109 inches and an eighth. So I'll type that right into the height, and then our preview will update with us. Let's also change the width. I'd like to have that at 36 inches. And there we are. We're all set. If I zoom in here just a little bit, I can use my temporary dimensions that appear to reposition this opening. So I'm going to move that over to exactly 15 inches. And now we have that set up correctly. Let's drop in a bench on this back wall area. We have a catalog of shapes that you can use really as any 3D object. You can modify these, change the different materials, and have those come up however you need to. So I'll just be using a closed square here and just resize that to a rectangle. And we're going to modify a few components here. Let's just open that up for specification. The depth I have at 15, the height I need to bring down a bit. Let's bring that down to 19 inches. And then for our materials, I'll get into my select material. And within our Home Designer Pro, we have a plan materials area. So this will bring up all of the materials that I'm already using in my design, one being the limestone tiles that is on our flooring. So that will update for us. Now let's put that limestone tile along our back walls here. To do so, I'll just get right out of our library, give us a little bit more real estate here. And I need to select these walls, but only the portion that is contained in our shower. So I'll use my break wall tool, single click in those kind of areas I need to break, and you'll see that little line as an indicator. Then I'll hit my space bar to get right back to my select object. And now I can single click only that section that I would like to update. Again, we'll just open those up, get into our materials panel, and change the wall surface. If we know the name, we can just type it in here. So let's do limestone. And there we go. Select OK. And now that's updated. While they're still selected, I just wanted to show you one more area, and that's the wall covering. So if you have multiple tiles on one wall, if you have a band, you can use the wall covering area to create multiple layers along your wall. Now let's just drop in our fixture and we should be set here. So right back to our library again, and I'll get into my user catalog. I found this fixture in our library and I just copied it and pasted it into my own folder. So that's another shortcut that you can do. Alright, there we are. So next, let's work in a built-in tub into our design. I also found an image of this built-in tub, so we'll continue working with our different tools and create the tub surround and drop in our tub and a fixture into our design. So back into the program, we'll start working on this back wall area and around. So again, you can use those shape tools if you would like to, or if you'd like to have a backsplash automatically placed on there, you can use our cabinet tools. So I'll just use our cabinet tool here and just drop that in. And I'm going to resize that and just bring it out over here. You'll notice that that is our floating cabinet, so let's just drag it right back down to the floor, open that up for specification. I'm going to change that height to 19 inches, and our depth, let's just do 10 inches. Well, let's do 12 for now. So we're just creating a box here, so I don't really need to worry about the countertop too much. I do want to put a backsplash back on here, so let's do about a 4-inch backsplash. And then for our fronts, we just need to remove everything. So let's delete that drawer, and then we can just do blank area, and we're all set there. There's one more area underneath that general. For the countertop, I do want to have the flat sides and no overhang. We don't need an overhang or anything like that on this enclosure. And then for our materials, I'm going to get into our material eyedropper and material painter tools, or you can of course go right through this section and change those through there. That's good enough for now. I'll select OK. So now we just have kind of that box area, and I'll use my material eyedropper. So I'll just click on our tile material, single click on all of the different components, and now everything's been updated for us. Now let's just copy that, and I'll just reflect it kind of over in that direction, and then we'll copy this guy and reflect it so we have that triangle handle so we can rotate that around and bring it over, copy that and reflect it onto the other side. So let's grab our bathtub here and see what we need to do for the rest of our enclosure. I'll just drop that in, rotate that around, and then bring that right over. So again, I'm holding down Control on my keyboard to kind of free up all of the snaps that happen there. And then we'll finish out our enclosure here. I'm going to just drag that up a bit and drag those down a bit. I like to have a little bit more space at the bottom for towels and so forth. And then in our 3D view, you'll notice that there is no kind of backsplash on the side here. So let's open up that cabinet and we can specify a backsplash on the side. And there we go. Now we're all set except for our faucet here. So let's select our faucet and just bring that right in and drop that in. I also want to change a few other materials while we're in this view. And in our camera view, we can rotate around by using our Move Camera with Mouse tool, and I like to just orbit, use the orbit option here. So let's modify some materials within our bathroom space. So for instance, our tile, let's start there. I'll use my Adjust Material Definition, click on that material, and then I can define that material a little bit further. So instead of using kind of a beige tone, I'd like to change that to more of a gray tone. I'm going to select the Blend with Texture. I still would like the texture of this material, I just would like to change it to more of a gray tone. So we'll select that color, and you can just use the different tools that we have, kind of colors pre-selected there. Or you can also select this eyedropper and take it onto your plan, or you can take it onto any other website that you have open. So pretty quick and easy to match materials through this area. And then you can change the hue of that and just take that up, lighten it up or darken it up. Select OK. You'll have a preview here so you can modify. You'll also notice that you do have an angled area. So if you wanted to change the angle of your tile, you can do that. Or change the scale so it can be a different scale in here. I'll select OK, and that will modify our material. Now let's change our wall color. So our glass shower those walls are still considered a material. So instead of using our material eyedropper or material painter tool to simply apply it in a 3D view, I need to open up our walls and modify the material right through the wall specification. So we'll modify this wall, and again I'm holding down Control on my keyboard while I'm selecting these walls. And those are pretty much all the walls that we can see. So I'll select those guys, open them up for specification, get into my materials, my interior surface, and I have found a material through our Sherwin-Williams that is Timid Blue. And another nice feature in these library options, when you do search for something, you can right click on that and have it show in browser. So it'll take you right to where that's located in our library for you to continue browsing through the library. Okay, so I'll select OK, and that will update my walls. And for our soffits, I can just use that material eyedropper, single click on that material and apply it to just that soffit. Now to finish off this space, I would like to continue by creating this double-sided fireplace area to separate our bathroom from our bedroom space. So I'll close out of here, and let's close out of this view as well, and I'm going to take a different camera view. We'll be sitting on our countertop up here. Okay, so now we're going to use our wall tools, and I'll use just that straight interior wall, and we'll just click and drag that out. I do need to be pretty specific on this wall because I did find a double-sided fireplace in our library with a specific width, and then we'll continue working here. And again, I'm going to just delete that label. So now that we have our walls completed, let's drop in our fireplace. And that is underneath our architectural, fireplaces, inserts, and multi-sided. So I'll just bring that in. And let's center that. Use our center object tool to center it in both directions. We'll center it on that wall and then on this wall as well. Now it's centered. Now let's open that up and bring that above our kind of tub enclosure there. So that needs to be brought up to maybe 25 inches. And select OK. So now that's floating within our walls. Let's get into our window tool, select that pass through, and then just single click and drop in a pass through. From here, I'll open up that pass through, change the dimensions. We'll do 40 inches wide and maybe 36 high. And then let's bring that up to maybe 30. And then again, through our casing, I'll just remove our casing, remove our sill, and remove our frame. So it's just a basic opening there. Now that's positioned, I'll copy it and reflect it onto the other side. And there we are. Alright, well, we'll close out of our 3D view here and look at our space a little bit. Looks like the only thing left that we need are a few fixtures in the water closet there. So we'll open up our library again, and I'll just type in toilet. We'll scroll all the way up to the top, and there are a few here. I'll just put in a toilet there and a bidet there. And again, you can just right click and show it in your browser. This one I have already copied into my own bath folder, and in there I also have toilet paper holder. So everything kind of comes right together for you. Alright, well, from here let's get right into our materials list, which is underneath tools, and we'll calculate from all floors. This will bring up all of the information in our design. So that includes all of the walls that we have in the design and the roof structure and so forth. But we can just scroll right down to the bottom here into our cabinets. That will be categorized here, split up a little bit so you can add any additional extras. You can put in your own pricing for your own estimates in here as well. Then we get into our fixtures, electrical, and so forth. You can export this to Excel, HTML, text, CSV within the Home Designer Pro software. So you can work with this outside of the program a little bit as well. I wanted to bring up our website quickly just to show you a few more options. Underneath products, you can find all of the different programs that we do offer. And through the product chooser, you can do a side-by-side comparison of each product and see which one is the right fit for you and your design needs. Or give us a call, we can also direct you to the right products. Through the product drop-down, again, you can find our free trial downloads. So we do have trial versions that you can download. There's no time limit for you. You won't be able to save or print with the trial version, but you'll have all of the tools to explore all of the options within the program and follow along with our training that we offer through our user center. We have different training videos, more webinars and recordings that you can watch. And then through our samples gallery, you can actually download sample plans and work with these existing plan files to explore the program as well. Again, under our user center, this is where you'll find the additional bonus and manufacturer catalogs. Or if you'd like to talk with other customers, you can get onto our Home Talk user forum, talk with existing customers, ask questions, and so forth. It's a great resource to get additional information. Or through our support center, our knowledge base is full of help articles that will be another resource for you, walking you through many different projects through the program. So check out all those resources on our website. We also offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. That's on new licenses or upgrades. So if you do have an older version, we do offer upgrade discounts for you. Or if you want to just upgrade to a more robust program, definitely give us a call or check on our website for those upgrade options. Stephanie will be on for a few more minutes here, so if you have any questions about bathroom design or today's webinar, feel free to chat those in. She'll be answering those questions for a little bit longer, or give us a call. We're here to help you out, get you into the right program, and answer those questions for you. So just give us a call or email us at sales@chiefarchitect.com. Thank you so much for attending today. Let us know if you have any questions and have a wonderful day. Thank you.